Bravo bosses. This is the Bravo Investigator Podcast. I'm your host, Dana. And today on our Monday Reality Roundup, we are doing a Summer House mini recap, the Valley mini recap, Rhode Island mini recap, RHONY updates, as well as Secret Lies of Mormon Wives. Joining me today is Jill Badlotto, who you can follow on Instagram. She has the best content on nostalgia. She does everything, Laguna Beach, the hills, and Bravo. So I was so excited to be chatting with her today. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. You can follow me until next time on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at the Bravo Investigator. You can also watch this episode on my YouTube channel. So please go subscribe over there and also join the Facebook group. I also wanted to let you guys know that effective April the 10th, I am starting a new podcast called All You Need Is You. It is a guide to living your best solo life. So I have been single for a decade plus at this point, and I have really come to enjoy the life that I have. I live alone, and it has been a struggle throughout a majority of my life. But once I came to really love and cherish it, I realized that this was something that I wanted to share with people. So this podcast is going to be advice, tips and tricks, interviews, stories, and just a really safe space for people who feel like they need support in living their best single life can find it here. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. You can find the Instagram account for that. All You Need Is You pod linked in the show notes. It'll be airing on April the 10th, wherever you get your podcasts. So I hope you guys will check that out as well and let your friends know. Anyone who is living a solo life and wants, a podcast complement to that, please let your friends know. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the episode today, and I love you, BBs. I will see you next time. Welcome to the Bravo Investigator Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited you're here. We are in this special secret Threads group together, whereas we first interacted, and I've just been such a fan of your content. You do a lot of the nostalgia stuff. So why don't you tell my listeners a little bit about your account, your profile, and why you got into reality TV, pop culture, and all that jazz?
Sure. So I have been watching reality TV since it's almost like its birth.
Right?
Because I'm a millennial.
In the womb.
In the womb, yeah. And so I've always been so fascinated with it and pop culture and all of that. And then I kind of got started on TikTok. Just one day I started talking about the Hills and where one of the cast members on the Hills was. And then it kind of spiraled from there. And I started talking about old school reality TV shows that I thought nobody remembered. I only thought I remembered these things, but there is such a big audience out there who loves nostalgic content, and I love talking about it. So, and it kind of spiraled from there.
That's so cool. Ugh. I think that The Hills was probably my first reality show too, because I feel like whenever you enter this space and you meet new people, you're always asked, what was the first reality TV show you got into, or what show got you into this space? And I think it was The Hills for me too. So that's so funny. They are doing that reboot and everything. Tell me everything that you know about that, because I know that's probably your jam right now. When is that coming out? What do you know about it? What's the deal?
Yes. So it's coming to Roku, and it's coming next week. And so they got together, the entire cast of season 1 of Laguna Beach, and they filmed it kind of like the way that they filmed the old school episodes. They went by the bonfire together. They kind of they also are doing kind of a stage where they kind of sit reunion style, and, they ask them questions and stuff. And so they're kind of just rehashing everything that happened before, where they are today. And this is honestly, I don't watch sports, but I imagine this is the feeling of your team winning the Super Bowl. That's what this is for me.
Wait, is there a team for you though within Laguna Beach? And if so, whose team are you on?
Oh my gosh. So, and I talk about this a lot on my channel, but the early 2000s was so against pitting women against each other. And so it was you're either team Lauren or team Kristen. And I was always team Lauren, just because it's Lauren Conrad.
Right.
I call her one of our millennial queens. But I will say as I've gotten older, I realize that it's the boys' fault because it's always the
Always.
boys' fault. So I love Kristen Cavallari too, but to
Me
see
too.
Lauren Conrad like come back, she really has taken like a step back from the spotlight. So to see her come back is just, it's such a treat.
And it's not something a lot of people do, right? Like it's even in Bravo, especially for someone to actually quit a housewife show is super rare. So
Yes.
for her to make that decision, I know she did a recent article about it. I didn't read it, but I saw the headline about like why I walked away from TV. But she probably wanted a very normal life after having grown up in the spotlight, you know?
Yeah, and even like housewives that we see leave or housewives that we see, get fired, we still see them on social media promoting things. They'll do like appearances and things like that. They're still very much out there.
That's true.
She really has like, rare, she posts maybe like once or twice a year on Instagram. She's really, really taken herself out of this entire game, which is, it's something to admire.
Yeah. What do you think was the driving force to get her to do this? Because I'm sure this was like many years in the making in terms of a thought process, and people were like, Lauren will
Yeah.
never do it. So what do you think was like the kicker that got her to do this?
So Laguna Beach hit 20 years. It's been 20 years since the show aired. I know she said in the article that they went to their high school reunion. They were kind of like talking about it there. And then Kristen and Steven, they did a podcast where they like rewatched all the Laguna Beach episodes.
Right, back to the beach, right?
Yes, back to the beach. She came on for that. And then she said from there, I guess it just made her feel more comfortable. I also think that like for Lauren, like if you look at Laguna Beach, you see like it's so like it's such innocence, and they're like little naive teenagers, and so I feel like you can look back on that more warmly than when you look at the hills. It gets a little more drama filled and serious, especially with like the Heidi and Lauren of it all. And so I feel like for her to revisit Laguna Beach makes more sense than her revisiting the hills, where it's a lot heavier.
Heavier and probably not her most favorite time of her TV career.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say like, oh, I wish Lauren would, do something with the hills, but it's like she went through a lot during that time in the media. I mean, there were some really horrible rumors about her. I would not want to revisit that either.
Yeah, I don't blame her. Well, yeah. I'm really excited for that to come out. That will be very nostalgic, and I'm really excited. Yes. But today we're talking a lot of Bravo and a little bit of Secret Lives. As you know, it has been a wild-ass week in the Wild Wild West, and we are still just trying to wrap our brains around everything Amanda, West, and Ciara. Basically, I have done quite a few episodes this week, either on my own podcast or on other people's podcasts, going through all of the drama, all of the rumors, all of the tea. But what we haven't really done is just kind of do a recap of this week's episode. So it's so interesting, though. I mean, whenever these things happen, it becomes one of those things where we go back and we watch the episodes, look for Easter eggs, and try to like see if we can figure it out, which is always kind of the fun part for us. What did you think of this week's episode? And was there anything that kind of stood out to you that made you like, oh my God, like, how did I not see this before between West and Amanda?
Honestly, I'm not going to lie. This week's episode was kind of hard to watch. Just knowing what we know now, I was trying to watch it from the mindset of I don't know what's happening with Amanda and West. Like but it's like so hard watching everything. Like it's like I'm starting to rethink everything, I'm like, is Jessi
my whole life?
Yeah, exactly. Like, honestly, did Jessi, I know Jessi says that like he didn't know back then, or he didn't know when it was happening or whatever, but I'm like, did Jessi do this whole storyline with Ciara because he was trying to throw people off of West and Amanda? Like I'm
fucking conspiracy. Oh
I know. I'm turning into a conspiracy theorist, But
don't turn into Craig.
Right, exactly. I'm turning into Craig Conover, my worst nightmare. But one scene that really stood out to me was when Ciara was talking to Amanda, and she was talking to her about Kyle and saying, have him like step away, see how it is to be separated. Let him feel that. And that was like really sad to watch, because Ciara was giving like she was giving the advice that Amanda needed. Maybe Amanda didn't want to hear it, but that's what she needed. And it just shows how good of a friend Ciara is.
Exactly. She said, you can stay with me. It could be a week or two.
Yes.
You have even Mia chiming in and saying, let us take care of you. You deserve to be taken care of. And those words almost broke me because, like, how can you do this to some? A lot of people were saying maybe they weren't that close. Maybe it was just a TV friendship. But it just really doesn't appear that way.
No.
And, you know, in line with what she was talking about in terms of Loverboy and how Kyle has been treating her, I just want to touch on when Carl tried to talk to Kyle about that, and he approached him and he was like, hey, you know, I'm kind of a little hurt that you didn't invest in Soft Bar. And he just made the same sort of excuses again about Loverboy and how it's going to be underwater in 3 months. And, like, I'm sorry, wasn't that 8 months ago? Like, is Loverboy not still in business? So I don't really get that. Plus, you did just buy that $10,000 watch, right? So why couldn't you just give him 10 grand? I say that as if I have 10 grand, but you know what I mean? It's like, he keeps putting it down on the business like that, but I feel like we've been hearing that same song and dance for years. And so I really do feel for Carl because, one, we know he's a mess right now, right? And so we just need to make sure that he's okay. But yeah, what did you think about that? Like, what did you think about him not investing in that whole concept?
I really felt bad for Carl because, you know, we've seen Kyle outed Carl's drug issues on Summer House, and Carl still, you know, invested in Loverboy. He has been so supportive in Loverboy.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So to see Kyle not, you know, and it, outside of the money, it just doesn't seem like Kyle is as supportive of Soft Bar as Carl has been of Loverboy. And that just makes me sad because I feel like Carl is in such a good place in his life. Like, Carl really has had such a good glow up. And I think that Carl could be a really good influence on Kyle, you know? Like,
isn't that crazy? But honestly, like, Carl has really had, like, he's matured. He's like this different guy now. He almost doesn't fit in the show anymore in a funny way because they say that he doesn't fit on in the city because he's not married and he doesn't have kids, but he's the most mature of everyone right now. I do wonder, tell me what you think. Do you think that maybe Kyle doesn't believe in Soft Bar in the same way that some of the other people didn't at the beginning? Do you think like that's what it might be?
Yeah, I think maybe he doesn't believe in it. I also think that maybe there's like a little bit of jealousy, and maybe like Kyle doesn't necessarily realize that he's feeling jealous of Carl, you know, like, 'cause I don't think that Kyle has bad intentions when it comes to Carl. Like, I don't, you know, but I think it to me, it seems like Kyle is in such a weird place mentally this summer that it's very hard to support other people and like see other people thriving and be happy when you're maybe not in the best position.
That's a really good point because I feel like that kind of ties into just how he's acting with Amanda and everything too. I mean, what did you think of the scene though of West kind of putting Kyle in his place about the way he speaks to Amanda? Because I know on this show or on any reality show, you are supposed to speak your truth and get involved in things that you wouldn't normally be involved in. But like, I would never like confront a married couple about the way they speak to each other. It's just like so inappropriate. Plus, now you have all these words. Like, you've never seemed to have words before. And now, and you seem to be so conflict avoidant. But when it's to support the love of your life, Amanda, it seems like you can't not say something.
Yeah. And I feel like if it was coming from like Paige, it would be different. You know, we would be like, oh, that makes sense, you know. But
it's a long-standing friendship too. It's like, that's way different. They just met this guy a couple years ago.
Exactly. And I think we have never seen like that reunion where after like West and Ciara broke up, West was like a mouse on the couch. And I mean, they were hitting him hard and he said nothing. And then it's like, you have Jessi, who is West's good friend, asking if he can make out with Ciara, this girl that you're supposed to like be very interested in and like, and West doesn't stick up for himself, but all of a sudden he's sticking up for Amanda with Kyle. It just, at the time, I was like, I'm so glad he did that. Wow, West is such a good guy.
I know. Now, look at us. We're so dumb.
I know. I was like, I wish I could like delete that video from, you know, because I was like, West is having such a good season. It's like, wow.
Because if you look at them as just friends, it seems like a really great friendship, right? But now with the information that we have, it seems so devious and like, ugh, it's just awful in that way. We also get Ciara talk like it's for me, I really love seeing Ciara open up this season and getting so much more about her. I was a little worried, not losing Paige, but just I wanted to make sure that in her place, we're going to get people to open up. I don't really care about the bed, but I just want to know more about life and stuff because I really felt like Ciara after the last season in the reunion, we got like this whole storyline. I hate calling it a storyline because it's her life, but we got this whole storyline that we didn't even know about her relationship with her mom. And I'm like, why isn't this on screen? And I don't blame her for that. I blame production. But like, if Ciara is a main player on this show, let's get more about her. So I've just loved her opening up and getting more about her. Her buying her grandparents' house was just absolutely beautiful. Keeping it in the family was kind of a funny line, but like I just thought that was so amazing and special and just really just shows the compassion that she has as a person, I feel like.
Yes, I agree. I loved seeing that. And I'm hoping that we see more of that, her storyline with that, redo. I mean, that is such a big deal that she bought this
No.
house and, keeping it in the family is just that was such a beautiful story.
Yeah, it really was. It was odd, though, financially, hearing from Amanda that she doesn't seem to know anything about her finances. I understand that they have separate bank accounts, and I'm not married, but like, how could it be so separate that like your husband takes out a loan and you don't care? And I also don't think it's cute when she's like, I'm just a girl. I just do art. I don't care about money. And it's like, just because he went to business school, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are like murderers who went to business school. Like that doesn't
Right.
mean you have to trust everything that they say. Even if he
Yes.
got straight A's, again, that doesn't mean he's not making business mistakes. It doesn't mean that she knows any better, but it doesn't mean you should just like trust it. It's just bizarre to me how she just sort of doesn't take a lot of control over really important aspects of life, like the prenup and getting the wedding together. She
Mhm.
just doesn't take a lot of responsibility, I guess.
It's not cute, and I
Yeah.
think like she tried to make it seem like you said, like I'm just a girl, and it's like it's not cute. It's not
Yeah.
like this is your life, you know what I mean? And I also think it's weird that, when they were telling her this, that like Kyle is talking about this, she seemed to not know anything about it. I'm like, do you guys talk? Like, what happens when you go
It seems like
home
they don't.
and you're like on the couch together? Like, is he doesn't mention to you like, hey, I could lose the business in 8 months? Oh,
To be a fly on that wall, because even later on when we see them sit down for him to like fully apologize to her for calling her a fucking stupid ass bitch or whatever he called her the week before, he's like, why aren't we trying? And that was interesting to me. It was like, so it made me think of what you just said. Are they sitting on the couch and not even looking at each other? Are they
Mhm.
ships passing in the night? And we know that they are, but like, are you guys literally not speaking to each other? Like,
Yeah,
it's weird.
it
And it
is.
doesn't seem to phase her as much as it phases him or something. Like
Mhm.
they seem to be in a different space, even though they're both in a bad place separately and in their relationship. They're also on different pages in terms of that, I guess, because he's sitting there being like, pay attention to me, which I just feel is so juvenile. But at the same time, she doesn't seem to feel like she needs anything from him right now. I
Yes,
don't know. It's really bizarre.
1,000%. I think that at this point, like what we're watching this summer, that Amanda just checked out. I think she
Yeah.
knew it was over,
So
even
checked
though
out.
it wasn't over. They didn't end it, but I think she was completely checked out. And I think for him, he probably wanted to keep it, like try to like keep working at it. Though he's not making any changes, I mean, she was like, I didn't marry a DJ. He's like, well, I just signed with a manager, so
Yeah. What do you think about now? A lot of people are saying that they think he wants her back. I don't. I'm curious what you think.
I don't know if he wants her back, but honestly, I could see them getting back together. And because
After she slept with West, ew.
yeah, I think that she is going to try and play victim and be
Yeah,
like, "Oh, like I got caught up, I had not felt like love before like that. Like it's been so long and Wes treated me this way." I think she's going to kind of like spin it a little bit as the victim and then she's
totally.
going to run back to Kyle. I hope I'm
I
wrong,
don't know.
but I could see it.
I'm so curious to see what'll happen. Oh,
I know.
Lindsay's apartment, by the way, is she just cosplaying as like a real housewife of New York? Because holy guacamole, so
A
beautiful, so
piano.
gorgeous. She's living like the high life.
I know, which I love for her.
Yeah.
I love seeing her like just shine in her own beautiful apartment. When Carl came, I was that entire interaction, I was like living for that.
Every time they interacted is so weird. And did you get a haircut? No. Is your hair different? No. I bought Jill a book about New York because she was born there. You know, the whole thing. What?
It is so good.
I got her a book about babies because, you know, she's a baby.
Right. I was dying. I was just,
oh my God.
It's so good to watch them interact.
And then we end with Dara approaching Bailey about being in Ben's room for an hour. That was interesting because it like ended there and I was hoping we would like get more. We get like a little bit of like footage, but not really. Like you hear Dara's voice, you see Ben, you hear Dara's voice, then you see Bailey up the stairs. I don't know. What do you think happened there? Because I posted something on Threads about how I was just like, wait, KJ and Dara are like our only couple now, right? In the house. So they could be like the new king and queen of Summer House. What do people think? And everyone goes, no. Like there was a resounding no. People were like, I don't trust her. She's a liar. She's using him for clout. She doesn't like him. I don't agree, but what do you think?
I am shocked that Dara is getting so much heat because first off, I think if she really came on, first off, she's like a pretty big influencer. Like I have friends who had followed her before she came on the show. So it's not like she's like is a wannabe, like she's going on to reality TV so she can become an influencer. Like she's already there.
Right.
And also I feel like if she wanted to like have, you know, like date someone on reality TV to like rise her star, she would have gone with Ben because Ben's been on reality TV. Like he has a reality TV career. Instead, she like,
that's a great point.
she went for KJ, who like, you know, I think KJ will be back because I think he's amazing on TV.
Absolutely.
And I'm obsessed with him. But she didn't know that. You know, she didn't know how the audience was going to. Ben would have been like her safer choice if that's what she wanted. So it's so confusing to me that people are saying, or she would have been single, or she would have gone for like Jessi, or you know what I mean? It's like
anything. And the way she was so genuine with KJ when he was like, you know, I was really anxious about me finding out this information. And I thought, you know, I was going crazy. She goes, no, you're not crazy. It's normal for you to feel that way. Like she was really validating him in his feelings. I know she's coming off a little like mad about the whole Bailey thing. And maybe we've only seen her have one confessional, and people, you know how we are on reality TV where we're like, we know you 100% because we've seen 5 minutes of you on TV, right?
Right.
So maybe people are really leaning into that. They've already decided they like Bailey. We're just getting to know Dara. Dara's against Bailey. So you know how we are in the fandom where we're like, it has to be sides, it has to be teams, it has to be like, we love you or we want you to die. It's one or the other.
Right.
Like, why can't we be somewhere in the middle?
Right. And I love Bailey. I think Bailey is hilarious. She like cracks me up. So, and I mean, I'm like, you know, I like them both. Like you know, but Dara I've seen like so many people just do not like her. And it really confuses me.
Yeah. Well, I guess hopefully we'll get to know more about her, but I just get good vibes. That being said, I'm probably not the best judge of character, so what do I know? But let's hope.
I mean, I was rooting for West, like on this whole season.
What do we know?
I was like, I love West, and
delete. All right. So some of the new tea that's come up within the last like 24 hours, I guess. Well, this to me wasn't new, was that Wes and Ciara hooked up as recently as a few weeks ago. I feel like we saw that come out, but at the same time, there's been articles within the last 24 hours that I guess are trying to really hit that home. And I feel like that is sort of one of the major points here, because this isn't about a situationship from 2.5 years ago. This is about something that was going on recently, which is kind of gross if you think about it. Like, we know he's been sleeping with like everyone and their mother, but it's even grosser that Ciara was one of those people. And then I was really shocked that Paige and Hannah entered the chat in such a dominant way, because a lot of people said earlier in the week, we don't think Paige is going to be very outspoken about this. She's not that way typically, but she was very outspoken. And she's like, we are Team Ciara. We're, you know, she'll speak in her own time, but we absolutely support our friend 100%. And I guess one of them, I don't know if like, I mean, we'll figure out the timeline when it eventually comes to light, but I think what I'm gathering has happened is that Ciara had this feeling about it. She approaches Hannah and Paige about it. They hire a PI. Again, this is all like what I'm putting together from all the things. They hire a PI. The PI doesn't find anything. A blogger then is able to get a photo or a video, apparently there's a video too, of them doing it in West's apartment, which seems illegal, but all right.
Yes.
That person then says, hey, Ciara, I want to show this to you, but I don't want to send it to you because of the graphic nature. Ciara meets up with this person, shows her, and, you know, the rest is done, right?
Yeah.
Any more thoughts from you?
Honestly, first off, it's like, gosh, if you want a case solved, like hire a content creator because you know
they'll be looking through your window.
I know.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, which honestly, like I think that was like very gross, you know, that like that because I don't agree with what Amanda did, but I don't like knowing a video out there like that exists of her. I just really hope that never is shown like that, you know what I mean? Because
it's very scandal in the sense of like a video. I mean, oh God, I don't know if it's going to come to blows where like Amanda starts like suing whoever took the video, right? Because if you're showing a video of someone naked or doing an intimate act with somebody else that was without their consent, I'm sure that is illegal.
Yeah, I know. I am like very curious if Hannah and Paige did hire the private investigator. Like that, I think was like the most interesting part for me.
To have gone this far is wild. Like I
know.
Oh, and then you mentioned that these pictures came out this week before we hit record about Kyle and Amanda exchanging the dogs, and you were like, she is wearing West's shirt and hat, right? The shirt for sure. We've seen the shirt everywhere. The hat I mentioned to you before we hit record, I've seen pictures of Kyle wearing as well. So who really knows? But it is odd that they keep being seen in each other's clothes. Like it does seem like they're fucking with us.
Yes, it does. And I feel like Amanda, like, and I'm like, am I reading into this too much? But it's like, if I would think that if I was Amanda, I would honestly like go out in the most plain clothing because a huge part of this story has been like them exchanging clothing. If she did go outside in West's sweater at this point, knowing people are going to be looking for her to get that first shot, that is diabolical. Like that just feels like a big middle finger, you know?
Is it just me, or are you having a hard time reconciling that she's this bad a person? Because a week ago, I liked her. I liked her down, right? I thought she was the greatest. But then again, we don't know her. We don't know her outside of this 10-year relationship she's had with Kyle. We don't know her before she was 24 years old, right? So like there's so much about her that we just really don't know. Would she do something this devious and diabolical? And like you've seen all of like the tea that came out from like a year ago, June 5th, where there was like a rumor from Crazy Days and Nights saying there's a seasonal star cheating on her spouse. And then that exact day, West and Amanda release like cryptic things that make it seem like they're together. I mean, even with a song playing over some of the videos saying things like my ex's best friend and things like that. It's just, are you playing into us or were you just playing in everyone's faces, right? Like it's just wild that you would go to these lengths, especially when you were people, especially Amanda being one of those people who was around at the time of Scandal, so she knows how bad it can get. And I understand she has mental health issues, but at the same time, you have to take some accountability when you do something that you know what the repercussions are going to be because you've seen it happen before. Are you frozen?
Right.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I agree. Am I frozen?
I thought you were for a second, but you're there.
You froze for a second too.
Okay.
I'm back. I'm here. Yeah. Honestly, it's like, and then I'm like, you know, do we think we know these characters, you know, when we're watching reality TV and we're like, because when this first came out, I was like, that is not real. Amanda would never do that. That just like, that's not her style. But it's like,
but isn't it so funny that we say that? We're like, she would never, people. But what do we know?
Right. Exactly. And it's like, I mean, you know, and that's why I kind of say, and I got kind of a little bit of like flack for this. I said like, this feels worse than Scandival in the sense of that betrayal of like the Amanda Ciara betrayal, you know, that to me, because it's like we have seen these girls, especially once Paige left the house, they got so close. And in the media, they have talked so much about supporting each other. Amanda, every single time she talks about like leaving Kyle or her divorce, she says, Ciara was there for me. Like she was my support system, you know? So it was like, no, she would never do that to Ciara, you know? Like that is wild, you know? That is like
just one of the most shocking things, I swear.
It really, Ciara, who like has not done a bad thing ever, you know, who has just been nothing but supportive to Amanda.
Well, I'm sure there will be more updates, and it's my understanding the reunion film's on the 15th, which is really soon, but that means we're not going to see it till May. But I hope there are some good leaks so that we can get the info sooner, because I have to know what went down. I have to be a fly on that wall, right?
Me too. How do you think they're going to seat them?
Oh God, I guess it has to. There, so many people have put out like joke seating charts, right? But I feel like it has to be Amanda and Ciara at the top, Wes next to Amanda, and everybody else on Ciara's side, right?
Yeah, who wants to sit next to them? You know.
But we've never had that. We've never had Amanda in the hot seat.
No,
like, that's wild. She's never. I mean, yeah, she got first chair last year, but for no reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we've never seen, like, I don't think we've ever seen Amanda not next to Kyle.
Oh my God, that's so weird. It's going to be weird.
It's going to be very odd.
All right, well, let's move on to the Valley, because we had the premiere this week. And so, yeah, let's just talk a little mini recap of it, because it was just an introductory episode. So there wasn't like a lot going on. It was just sort of introducing us to what's been happening over the past year. Brittany is still waiting for Jax to sign divorce papers. She's dating that guy, Brandon, that she met in Kentucky that she knew a long time ago. Now, we know they're not together IRL, but you know what's so funny? A few weeks back on her podcast, she was talking about him, like super briefly. She goes, oh God, remember that guy? Oh, that was so weird. I can't even believe I said I loved him and all that stuff. That was just such a whirlwind. I totally forgot about that. And I'm like, oh, that's so funny, because we're watching it here and it makes it seem like this is going to be her next husband. And then the way she talks about it, IRL is like, oh, that was just nothing.
I'm so surprised.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, she probably needed it for like a rebound, you know?
I was gonna say, like, maybe he helped her like get her sporkle back, you know, like you know, that was like his job in her life, was to help her, you know, keep moving forward from Jax.
And she needed to feel beautiful. She needed to feel wanted again. So like, I'm here for that. Yes. What are your thoughts on having Schwartz and Lala on as full-time cast members this season?
So
and now that you've seen it,
I am like kind of a little bit of a Schwartz hater in the sense that, like, yeah, I know.
Tell me.
He just, to me, seems like such a child, like such a little like a little like man boy, and that just really annoys me. I really hated the way that he handled Katie, and I don't know. I like want him to really grow up. Schwartz makes me laugh. But I also think like he gets a pass on a lot of things just because he's like adorable, and it's like, oh, it's Schwartz, and it's like, well, no, he's a grown-up man, you know, he's not a child. So I was like a little about having Schwartz on the Valley. I am though excited to see Schwartz outside of Sandoval, you know, like that I'm excited to see him outside of Sandoval and outside of Jax, like outside of a lot of the toxic men. Lala, I could have done without too. Mm-hmm. But I also like, I'm kind of interested in Lala's like home life a little bit. I think she has a very interesting dynamic that, you know, she had like her daughter via surrogacy, and, you know, she's kind of doing this on her own. So I think that that's kind of cool to see that play out on the Valley, like a different type of family. You know what I mean? I think that if
people didn't dislike her so much, it would be something people would want to watch more, because it is inspirational to be like, oh, you're going to have this whole family on your own and you're not going to allow not having a man to stop you. So that is amazing. Yes. That being said, what did you think about Luke possibly being Sosa's dad? That is so
I was like, I have to rewind this because they do look alike.
It's the actually exact same cryobank. Like, I feel like the odds are actually good. Do you think it would be like I was like, they should just get the test just for fun, right? But then it's like a whole thing. What if he is the dad? Then he wants to spend time with her, and which was against what Lala wanted in the first place, right?
Could you imagine Kristen Doty is your child's stepmom? Like that, like is Lala's child's stepmom. Like imagine telling like Vanderpump, like yourself back on Vanderpump Rules, like season 4, that, you know, that like Kristen Doty might be Lala Kent's baby stepmom.
Weirder things have happened on Vanderpump Rules.
Yes.
Okay, so you're a mom, and I'm really curious your perspective on like the whole having a baby kind of thing, not feeling comfortable in your body, not feeling comfortable having sex because, well, you don't have to go into that. I just feel like, I kind of understand where Kristen is coming from. I'm not someone who's had a baby, but I'm someone who has probably never felt comfortable in their body. I don't love Luke's storyline of like, my partner won't give it to me. But I can totally understand where Kristen is coming from. This is like so new for her, even just how she's sort of become like agoraphobic with the baby. I feel like part of that probably has to do with the fact that she's just wanted this so badly for so long that she just wants to live in it. And she can't even fathom life outside of it,
Yes, absolutely. And like, I know that Kristen has been very open and honest that her and Luke had a miscarriage. And
right.
so, so when you experience loss like that, I'm someone who experienced a loss too. Like it's extra, when you do have that baby, you can get extra anxious about the fact that like, what losing that feels like. And I mean, 3 months postpartum, that is like, honestly, that was like the toughest time as a mom for me so far. My kids are still young, but like that period, especially after my first, it is so tough. It is like your world is just turned upside down, And so I understand Luke like feels disconnected from her, but he also has to make sure that he gives her like a lot of grace. It's not always going to be like that,
That's the thing. He's acting as though this is forever, and like this is just like a season in your relationship, and that's like not really fair to keep coming at her about it, right? Especially when she's just trying to navigate being a mom.
Exactly. And as we know, like women they don't get like the time needed. They don't get like the support and the resources that they need after they give birth to kind of like heal fully. Like she's trying to heal her own body while take care of this newborn that is depending solely on her and her fiance. So I think I really give Kristen a lot of credit, because I could not imagine coming on reality TV 3 months postpartum. That is like,
or even Nia last year, or their first year, it was 6 weeks, right?
Yes.
Which is crazy. What's so funny to me though, was when Jessi was trying to be like supportive to Luke, and he's like, when I was his age, I was running around doing crazy things. 33 years old. He's like a child. How could he possibly be a father? Now, it was different for me. I was 40 years old, right? But he's only 33. He's like a baby.
Luke is a teen dad,
33.
It's like 33 is an adult.
Yeah. Okay, what are your thoughts on Janet this season? I feel like she tried to come in a little bit differently. She tried to be a little bit more maybe demure and mindful. She's going to therapy. I didn't love what Kristen did at this party that we didn't get to see, where she was like, she doesn't deserve to be here or anything like that, because there's no reason to be yelling and screaming at people when nothing's kind of going on. But like, I don't know. Like, do you think she's going to have a good season? How do you feel about her?
I don't know. Seeing like that she's going to therapy and stuff, and she's like, she kind of took like somewhat a little bit of accountability. I wouldn't say she like took full, but more than she did last season.
Pretty good for Janet. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I do think like after seeing like the whole like West Amanda Ciara situation, like seeing a villain like Janet and Jessi, who you're kind of like, okay, like maybe they're not so bad. Like, which, so I'm kind of like, I kind of think that Janet is needed, like that type of character is needed in a TV show, if that makes sense.
I totally agree. What I feel like happened last year though was like, I feel like the audience no, I feel like the audience didn't understand that. And like I mentioned earlier, they have to be so black and white about it. And so it's like we either like her or we want her to die. And it's like
Right.
we can't keep doing that to people, right? We can't keep, wanting them to die. We do need a villain. And like you said, there are way worse villains out there who have done way more villainous things. I
Mhm.
feel like she's hit like a good level of villainy right here, right now. If she stays at this level and isn't like, affecting families in like a major way, maybe this could
Agreed.
work.
Yeah, agreed. I'm hoping that that's the case with her this season. Although I can't see her getting like I can't see once all the drama like really ramps up her like holding herself back. I think
It's
that's when her
hard.
therapy will really have to come into play.
Yeah. And I want to give everyone grace for that because it's so hard. Like when I was chatting with Jesse's girlfriend, Lacey at BravoCon, she was like, you are going to see me crash out. And I'm like, it's okay. She's like, I just think you get so in the whirlwind of it. You get
Yeah.
put in a circumstance that you would never be in normally, right? And
Mhm.
you can't even necessarily leave the conflict in the way that you might normally. So it's just a whole new world and a whole new whirlwind. And I said, don't worry about it. I've got your back regardless, because I understand that people are going to have hard times. But a little bit of tea, this whole
Ooh.
cease and desist business, I
Yeah.
did want to get a little bit more information on this because Lacey did speak about it last year on some TikToks, but I wanted to sort of gather all of the information to make sure I really understood. So the cease and desist was not about like talking about her in general on the show. There was apparently an alleged incident where they were all at like a mutual friend's birthday party or like a kid's birthday party, and it was alleged that Lacey was drinking and that she endangered her child and other children by driving them home drunk. Those allegations, I am told, are false. But it was that she wanted a cease and desist for, and that's what she got the cease and desist for. That can affect her parenting and like her custody and like all that stuff, right? Like she has a small child.
Right.
So whether or not this is 100% true, I don't know. My understanding is that the allegations are false, but I have not seen any of the security footage. There is allegedly security footage. I have not seen it. So I cannot say for certainty, but what I have been told is that this is not true. So the cease and desist was to be like, don't talk about this because this can affect, my life as a mom.
Right, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
It did seem like odd that they made it seem like that she did a cease and desist because she didn't want to be brought up on the show, but then all of a sudden
Yeah, she's just like handing them out like candy.
Yeah, so I kind of assumed maybe that there was more to that story. That's very interesting. I'm actually really excited to see Lacey. I know we only saw like a couple of minutes of her, but to me, and she seems to get along with everyone. Like it seems like everyone likes her. So I feel like
I think that really pisses Michelle off.
Yes. Yeah. I think it pisses Michelle off too. And, Michelle is probably in such a weird position after like Aaron just broke up with her. She kind of thought that that was going to be her next husband. So
right.
I'm sure it's not easy to have, your ex-husband's new girlfriend on the show.
Especially with everyone liking her, right? Like that would be the worst. Like even if you don't have feelings for him anymore, it's not about that. Like you want all your friends to hate him and everyone around him, right? So if everyone loves his new girlfriend, yeah, that pissed me off too.
Exactly. Same. I can't even like hate her for that.
No, for real. Okay, let's move on to The Real Housewives of Rhode Island. We got our premiere episode this week. So good. Well, did you think it was good? Because I was really into it.
I'm obsessed.
Okay, good.
Obsessed.
But can you tell any of them apart?
No, I can't. I had to make notes for like my recap video because I was like, wait, okay, Liz is the one I like literally put down. Liz has the big house. Like Rosie is the one with like her issues with her mom. Like I had to really, because it's kind of hard to tell.
Wait, isn't it Joellen, the one with issues with her mom?
Joellen is it? See?
Okay. It's hard. You know what? I think in a few weeks we'll get it, right? Even at the beginning of Salt Lake City, we're like, which one is Lisa and which one is Meredith, right? So we'll get there with our brown-haired ladies. But yeah, I think they're also interesting. I'll kind of go through what I was able to gather from some of them. So we have Alicia, who has a daughter, Selena, and a fiance, Bill. They've been engaged for 9 years, which is okay. Then we have Liz. Now, Liz is the one who looks exactly like Dolores, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And they went to the same plastic surgeon. But like, did you say give me her face?
Because they look so, even their mannerisms.
So I could not. Those two, no. Those two are twins. She met her husband at a bar, and they might be related because they did Ancestry.com, but we didn't get more there because it's like, what level of you did it, and then what did it tell you?
Right.
What are
Yeah.
we
Like
talking? Your brother and sister. What do you mean?
I know. Are we talking like distant distance? Are we
Yeah.
talking cousins? Like what?
So bizarre. Her husband, Jerry, has 3 daughters. So she sort of went straight into stepmom mode. They own a cannabis dispensary. Then Kelsey. Now, she is the most interesting one to me in the way that she lives. So
Yeah.
she lives as a lady of leisure. She has a boyfriend who spends half of the year in Miami, which is what I assumed was like for work or something. But no, it's because he dates someone else there, which
Yeah.
is what they're considering like a polygamous relationship. I guess I didn't really think about it like that. But she met him at 19. They've been together for 10 years. She was Miss Rhode Island and she just hit 30 and she wants more for herself. So a lot of people have already done their digging and found out who this guy is. He's like the son of like whoever used to be the mayor of
He
Rhode Island, I think.
apparently he's the son of this really big judge that was in Rhode
Oh, a
Island.
judge. Okay.
Yeah, and he had his own TV show, and apparently
He had a
they
TV
just
show.
Yes,
But now we
the
can't see him on
judge.
TV?
No,
Oh, the judge had a TV show.
The judge
Okay.
had a TV show. And apparently this guy who Kelsey's dating was also in a long-term relationship with Paula Abdul. Yeah.
He's been with this one for 10 years.
Well, there's some overlap is what like people
Right. It
were
depends on what
saying
time of the
in my
year it
show.
is, right?
I guess. But like honestly, I can't even hate on Kelsey. It sounds like she has a really good situation.
You know what? It's the perfect situation for me because like I love being single. I'm very happy with it, but I'm poor, right? So it is the perfect situation for me where I don't actually have to interact with the person. But she also does seem sad, right? It doesn't seem like it's what she wants. And she seems to be very sensitive about it, right?
Yeah.
We'll get into the rest of the ladies. But what I also wanted to say about it was just like the fact that it sort of becomes a storyline already because she's so sensitive about it. She doesn't like that the other girls are talking about it.
Mhm.
But what I also love about all of these women, and we'll get into the rest as well, it's just like most of them do have some relationship. They know each other. While I feel like with RHONY, like new RHONY, I feel like one of the biggest problems was we're watching you guys get to know each other. And when you're first getting to know someone, you don't start like yelling at them. That's not normal, right? Or you don't have a beef big enough with them to be more than something about cheese, right? Like there just isn't more there than that or pigeons or whatever. But these people, they already have some of those deep rooted history with each other. So we can start right off the bat with drama without having to watch them get to know each other while we get to know them. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It like I think with like Reboot RHONY, it felt like we were watching the show being produced because they were coming into this new environment and stuff. Whereas with Real Housewives of Rhode Island, it feels like they're just dropping off the viewers in the middle of all their lives. Like it feels like all this would be happening with or without the Bravo cameras.
Right.
Which feels old school Real Housewives.
It does. Even just the way they set it up and like the way it ended, the drama of it. Okay. Then we had Joellen, like you said. So she met her husband in high school. She works in aesthetic sales. And I believe she's the one whose mom was really hard on her. So she sort of had no guide as to how to be a good mom. So we didn't get a ton there on what that meant. I am currently actually estranged from my mom. We actually haven't spoken in a year. And you know, it was something I thought about when I had thought about having children because I'm like, do I want them around her? Do I want to, and I also worried for myself, like, am I going to carry over any of those kind of characteristics? Right.
Yeah.
So this is really interesting. And it kind of reminds me of like MJ and her mom on the Valley Persian style and how it's like, we have this relationship because we are mother and daughter. And so it is, but every day with you is really difficult, right? And so it's really interesting how she worries about how that's going to affect her parenting.
Yeah, and I think that especially for like our generation is such a big thing because, you know, our generation really is like breaking the cycles. You know, we're very conscious about that. And so I have so many friends who don't speak to their parents or estranged from their parents. So I think that's so relatable.
It is a lot more so recently, you know?
Yes.
Then we have Ashley I, that's just my queen, right? Like I know Ashley I. I've known her for years. I've known her for like a decade now. Were you a Bachelor Nation girly back in the day?
Yes. And
So I
watched the entire Ashley and Jared saga. It is wild that she's on Real Housewives. I love it.
It is so wild. This is our first like real crossover from like another show. I think it's a great idea because she knows how to do reality TV. I just released a 2-hour deep dive on her. It's this series that I do on my podcast called Be True Hollywood Story. And I do it on Bravo Labs on how they got from birth to scandal to stardom and everywhere in between. And since she is now at Bravo Lab, I did one on her. So I was rewatching Bachelor in Paradise and Bachelor Winter Games, all these ridiculous shows. Do you remember that? Her and Kevin Wentz, who I had like a big crush on too, because he's from Toronto, which is where I am, right?
Yes.
And there are so many aspects of her that are so perfect for this show. There was this one point where she's on Chris Soule's season, and the girl that ends up winning, Whitney, she says about her behind her back, like, I didn't realize I had to worry about that. You know, like there's just like these comments that she'll make, or how she really tried to take down Kayla Quinn on Bachelor in Paradise because that's who Jared was interested in. And she's like, Jared, she's a conniving, low down bitch. She's this and that. And she was really good at being able to convince him, right? Then there was obviously the 4-page letter front and back. But like this girl and the crying and the faces that she makes when she cries, especially when she's trying to get out of a cry, it's sort of like a This is very bizarre.
Yes.
So I'm so happy to have her.
Oh my God, me too. I can't wait for like more Ashley. And I can't stop calling her Ashley I too.
Right.
You know, it's just like natural. I can't wait to get more like crying moments from her. She's got such a good reality TV cry face. It's so good. It really is.
So they've opened this place, Audrey's, which is her and her husband's coffee shop. And she talks a lot about how it's not bringing in as much money as they had hoped, and how, you know, Jared wanted to do something out of influencing, which I like that they're talking about this in real life. Like they're like, we are influencers. We met on The Bachelor and I'm famous, right? Like I just like that kind of, we're just being honest about it. It's not really a fourth wall break because it is true, but it's also like, I don't know. I didn't feel like we were going to go there. So it was nice to sort of hear that. It's like, okay, we're influencers, but we want to do something more than that. He does this, which he feels passionate about, but he doesn't really like smile anymore. And he doesn't feel like fully fulfilled. I heard some podcasters say like it was so not cool for her to keep kind of bringing up the money and like how he's not really bringing in a lot. That wasn't like the vibe I got. Like I got the vibe that they felt the same way about it. Like, how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I felt like they, you know, I don't think it was like I don't know if you watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but like Amanda. Okay. So with like Amanda Francis is kind of like always putting her, like not putting him down, but she's always like, this is, I bought this house.
Yes.
This is,
yeah, she does.
I make more than my husband. Like she really wants it known. I did not get that. I didn't get that vibe at all from Ashley I talking about like their coffee. You know, I feel like to me, it seemed like he's putting so much work into this, so much, and he's like draining himself for something that isn't giving as big of a return as we wanted. And I don't want him to like lose himself in that, you know?
Yeah. But I like how he also understands like his new job on reality TV. So he's trying to multitask. He's like, John, here's your coffee. And why is Joanne upset? Okay. The one was cheap. I understand. Okay. Chris, your coffee's over there. Right? Like he's so he's like,
and I watched her her Instagram stories after the show premiered, and it was like Jared was like, he was like sitting down and he was like on his phone or something, and she's like, Jared's hiding from Real Housewives of Rhode Island because he does not like to watch himself on TV. And apparently,
oh really?
Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and apparently
so many these people don't watch themselves. That's wild.
I know. And apparently, like Monday Bachelors, he would go to the movies every Monday because he didn't want to see.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I know.
Oh my God, they're going to be great. Okay, then we have Rosie. She's a newscaster. She's been married for a year to Rich, who is her biggest supporter. Now, he does a lot of things like DJing, and I'm sorry, we got to get rid of these DJs on Bravo. This is, or somebody needs to explain to me what it is that makes it fun. And he's also a Frank Sinatra impersonator. Wait, was it impersonator or whatever the other word was he didn't like to be called?
Yes, he didn't like to be called impersonator.
Okay, so what was the thing he liked to be called?
I can't remember. I can't remember
what can you do as something that Frank Sinatra? That's an impersonator. What is the other?
Yeah,
what's the other word?
Like,
all right. Well, hopefully they don't come for me, and hopefully I don't get a cease and desist. And then Ashley and wait, I wrote Kayla. Is there a Kayla? Or did I mean Kelsey? Maybe I meant Kelsey. Are Ashley and Kelsey good friends? Or those are the ones that are close to each other?
Ashley and Rosie.
Ashley and Rosie. Okay,
Yeah,
still trying to get on the names.
I get it. Yeah.
And then, yeah, we sort of just end with Kelsey being upset about Rosie talking about her relationship because she was sensitive
Mhm.
about it. Then it turns out that maybe Joellen was the one bringing it up. But to me, this is very obvious that she's just, what's the word, like insecure about her own relationship. This isn't,
Yes.
nobody said anything bad about it necessarily. I mean, it is a little odd, right? It's not like you're living this. Yeah, it's not conventional. Like you said, it's not
Yeah.
conventional. So it's normal for the ladies to ask. If they didn't ask, then we can't be here. Then you can't be here.
I mean, this is like honestly one of like the most interesting family dynamics to come on Real Housewives in a really long time, you know? So it's like, wait, run it back. Wait, your boyfriend has another
Yeah.
girl in Miami and you know that and you're okay with that? It's like it's not even like coming from a judgmental place. It's just like that is very out of the norm. And so we want to hear more about it. You know what I
Yeah, and
mean?
if you're gonna get like that, if you're gonna pop off like that with them just asking, well, God forbid what happens from now on because it's gonna get way worse, honey.
Right. Yeah. It's like, do you know what show you're signing up
Yeah,
for? You know, like,
some of them don't. Some of them don't.
yeah.
Well, new Roni, we are going to be getting that back with a few of repeat characters, some new people, but we did hear word this week, amongst there being like very little news outside of Summer House, that Sai DaSilva and her husband are getting divorced. Now, I believe she is one of the people who is coming back to new Roni. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, I never want to say this, but like, do you think there's any way they're doing this for the storyline, for the plot? I hate to think that anyone would do that, but I thought they had a really solid relationship. But that being said,
Honestly,
again, what do we know?
yeah, I did too. They just moved into like they got a new place in the city because they were living in Brooklyn. They just got this new
Hmm.
place in the city. They have this place like upstate. You know, like I follow Sai on
Yeah.
Instagram. So it seems like things were very like normal. She never really like showed a lot of her husband, but like I never thought that that was weird because you know, that's not her content.
Yeah.
Um but
That's
I
not your
don't know.
content.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they filed maybe like they wanted to get a divorce, but like they were filing for when the cameras were going to be up, you know, like for the show. I don't
Yeah.
know. But she doesn't strike me as the type of girl to like try and make a storyline.
Me neither. And I did appreciate her like having some introspection after the first season, kind of
Yes.
trying to like course correct second season. I mean, again, it's really hard for me to believe that anybody would take such a major step in their life for a plot. But
Mhm.
I mean, this could have been something she was feeling for years. It could have been
Yeah.
she went on the show to get a divorce. A lot of people say that a lot of housewives go on Housewives to kind of start that process in a way, right?
Right.
Sort of
Right.
become more independent. And maybe she realized, okay, this show is not popping off. I've just got to get the divorce now.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
didn't get the notoriety I wanted, so I think I just need to file
I
the
am
divorce.
super curious how the new RHONY reboot is going to go. Like I don't know how. I know that the girls that they're bringing back, like Jessel, Sai, and Erin, that they seem to like be in each other's lives. I know they kind of
Hmm.
met through the RHONY reboot, but
Right.
seems like they like even when they weren't filming, they were still hanging out. I am though curious about the newbies, and I'm curious about Carol Radswell. Kind of,
Oh, right. I forgot about that. I
yeah.
totally forgot about that.
I'm very curious about that,
I
how
want to
she's
put
going
that
to
the negative stuff aside for a second because I really did like her on Roni. The
love
negative
her.
stuff is very negative, but
Yes.
I and I'm curious who she's really even connected with on this show because if you're going to be a friend of, who are you a friend of? You know
Yes,
what I
who's,
mean?
like, bringing you in.
Right.
Same, and I read an interview with her that Andy basically, like, gave her an offer she couldn't refuse, so I'm assuming she's getting a lot of money for coming back, and that he told her, "You can film as little as you want, or you can film as much as you want." So, I'm
What a
curious.
life.
Right? I know. I think
Here's a
they're
million
hoping.
dollars for whatever you want.
Yeah. I think they're hoping she saves the RHONY reboot.
Even if it doesn't, I mean, again, just with how good Rory was, like, I feel like sometimes we have hits and sometimes we have misses. Not
Yeah,
everything can be a hit, you know?
absolutely. You never know how it's gonna play out. You know, they
Right.
can cast the best people, but if it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out.
Okay. Yeah, I 100% agree. We have one more topic, which is Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Do you have a few more minutes?
Yes, totally.
Okay. So we did hear all of the drama with Taylor Frankie Paul no longer being the Bachelorette. During season 4 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, we found out that Dad Talk was going to be on season 4 of Vanderpump Villa, which was set to be in England. And a lot of people were arguing, well, if Taylor Frankie Paul is no longer the Bachelorette, then how come Dakota gets to continue to be on Vanderpump Villa? Well, it has now been announced that he will be edited out of Vanderpump Villa after the domestic violence investigation involving Taylor Frankie Paul. Lisa Vanderpump actually spoke out about this recently as well and said that basically he didn't have much of a role and it was pretty easy to cut out of it. So that's kind of interesting. But I mean, I'd have to agree because as of right now, they did put domestic violence allegations against each other. We don't know if she was alleging against him, but if she has made allegations as well, then to me, like tit for tat.
1,000%. 1,000%. I think that filming the both of them is like just a huge risk from what we've seen from them. So like, I don't think he probably should have been a part of it to begin with, just because of everything that he and Taylor Frankie Paul have like gone through and that we've seen and that we know about. I was really surprised though that Lisa Vanderpump kind of like talked about that, just because I think she sometimes has a tendency to like give an excuse for men. Yeah. Like white men who make problems. We've seen it with like James Kennedy. She was trying to like kind of give Tom Sandoval a better spin, you know? So I was surprised that she actually said something.
Same. I don't think it's out of the goodness of her heart though. I honestly think she was just learning with the times of what is acceptable and what isn't, probably, or learning from her PR what we've got to. I mean, this isn't the guy you want to hang your hat on, right? Like nobody is like fighting for Dakota. Like nobody's so worried about it. I don't know if you saw this come out because it came out like either like last night or this morning, so I just wanted to add it that Jessi and Marciano were spotted in Salt Lake City on a date.
Yes, I saw that.
What are you two doing?
God.
I hate it. I hate it.
I can't. I want Jessi to like get away from him. Like I do not, you know, like go enjoy. Like I want her to have like a hot girl single summer, you know, like
there are no men. Like honestly, everyone around them is either Chase or Dakota or this guy, right? Like,
I know. I don't.
Who are the other men in Utah?
I know. What is going on in Utah? You know,
I know.
Like, what? My God. It's that
like, this is the guy. I mean, it's, I hate that it's sort of, you know, that Jordan is having, you know, thoughts about it now being like, oh, okay, well, I was right and this and that. And that's like not necessarily the case, but like, you know, this is the guy who kind of fucked up your life a little bit. Why don't you pick somebody else? But, you know, actually, I was going to ask you, I'm curious if you know any more updates on Secret Lives, just because, again, it's been such a busy week that I've sort of been out of it. But the last we saw was Chase, and the last we saw on the internet was Chase and Jessi allegedly making out. Well, not even allegedly. She basically like admitted to it. Miranda lost her shit and all the other casts were not happy about it. Did anything happen after that? Has anyone else spoken up?
Not that I saw.
Okay.
I haven't seen. And
I got buried in the news.
Yeah, I think it got buried in the news. I know though that Michaela posted something today.
About this. About TikTok basically being, you know, one of her silly little.
Yeah. So that was like the latest that I saw. I am curious though, do you think that they're going to pick up, like, do you think there's going to be another season or do you think they're going to be done with them?
I think they should be done, but that's a different story of what they will do. I think they should be done just because I didn't really honestly love season 4. I felt like we're now just watching them do press. It was kind of uncomfortable seeing how mentally unwell Taylor was and us just sort of promoting that in a way. I think if anything, maybe we need a break, but I also kind of feel like we could be done with them. And just so many of them have so many struggles that they're dealing with that I feel like this show doesn't even make it better. But the way TV works and the way networks work is if it brings in money, it will renew. And like, look at Vanderpump Rules. I didn't even finish that season. It was so bad. And we're getting a season 2, right? So it's really hard to get something canceled, even though I don't know what's going on with Miami. But given how much money this has brought in, to the fact that they're outsourcing little pieces of it elsewhere, like Vanderpump Villa or The Bachelorette, right? Like this show is such a moneymaker that I think they will continue it to the detriment of these girls.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just it just kind of feels like they all need a break from this. It just doesn't feel like healthy for most of them at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know like drama sells and, you know, people want to see like the complicated relationships and stuff, but it like gets to a point. Like I don't want to see Taylor Frankie Paul on TV for ever. You know, like I feel like, and Dakota too, you know, like it's not just her, it's the both of them. I have no interest in watching that dynamic. It's gotten to a point where it's too much.
Yeah, it's icky. I totally get you. Well, Jill, thank you so much for being here today. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and follow you and see what you have going on?
Yeah. So I'm at Jill Badlotto. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. That's where I'm talking Bravo, nostalgia, all those things.
Thank you so much, Jill.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Ending the recording. Thank you for listening to the Bravo Investigator podcast. For more content, head over to patreon.com/the Bravo Investigator podcast. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at the Bravo Investigator. If you enjoyed the show, leave a 5-star review. Love you, BBs. See you next time.